but for those that maybe are not aware of what this is all about and what we're going to be doing some coding on today, as the README says, this is over on GitHub, by the way, open source project that I've been developing for a couple months now. It's a tool for managing stream recordings, and that seems kind of boring, but the idea is that I take all the streams that I do on Twitch, I take the VODs and I put them on YouTube, and that is something that you can just do from Twitch. But I want to do more than that. I want to make it so that I can do more fancier video editing. Do like highlights and clips and that sort of thing, shorts, and I want to leverage GPT-4 to do it. I want to take advantage of the fact that I record all of my stuff locally as well, to be able to like scan that and process that and all of these things it says here, and eventually like be able to import things into DaVinci Resolve. I've come to realize there are some features in DaVinci Resolve, like transcription, but you have to pay several $100s for. So I would rather spend hundreds of hours working on this project rather than spend hundreds of dollars. Because at least it gives me something to do on a Sunday. And for once, I actually have coffee left over. I have not finished it before the stream started. So, that is the recap. How are we doing this fine Sunday? Mush is probably... Is it okay if I... Well, you said you're lurking, so maybe you're not available to say. But, yeah, anyway, moving on. Let's get into things. I actually was messing around with this the other day, in between the streams, because I wanted to try to see if I could use the transcription feature. What I have been doing is, for especially the coding videos, I will upload them to YouTube. I'll trim them down, cut them up, upload them as individual like 1 hour segments to YouTube. And then YouTube has a thing where it gives you like a auto transcript, which it's not great, but it's okay. Probably about as good as the thing that I've built. But then I can take that and I can paste that into ChatGPT and be like, give me a summary, give me a, as a content marketing manager, something, produce a video description from the following transcript. And so that's what I've been doing recently on the coding VODs that I've been putting on YouTube. Where was it going with this? Oh, right. So that entails me like doing the video editing, getting it all cut up, and then getting it on YouTube and using YouTube's transcription, right? And I was thinking, well, I have this thing, it's mostly working. Let me just take the videos, put it in the tool. I'll configure the info, like the metadata for the stream, with the prefix, so it knows where to find the files. So this is from the New Year's Eve stream. We were doing coding because that was a Sunday. And so it found all the files that were here locally, and then I tried to do the transcription thing. It says task completed. It did not complete. There was an error. But I was hoping to do this so that I could like look at that and start using that transcript for things without having to like do all the video editing stuff first. Get the transcript first, and maybe that could, basically start to use the tool. I mean, this is not all for nothing. Eventually, I want to actually be able to use this to help me with doing this stuff. And it says it worked, but it didn't work. And why is that? Well, I'm not exactly sure. I suspect it maybe has something to do with what we were working on at the end of the last coding stream, where there was a bug, right? There was a bug where it couldn't figure out how to take the URI, like the reference to where the file was located, and turn it into the actual location where the file actually was. And we had changed something, and it seemed okay, but I think we didn't have time to test it. So I guess what I did between streams was test it, and it doesn't work, and I'm not sure why. So we're gonna figure that out. Is the first thing today, so that we can then start putting some of this into practice, and then we'll probably pivot from the backend stuff. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long to diagnose and troubleshoot the issue. But after that, we can go and start working on the front end. Maybe come up with some ways to make it a little nicer. I think at one point I was saying we have some UI components that are not so great. I can just manually add one. So we have these different fields, and we can make this better and figure out how to make overall this UI maybe a little bit better. Right, so the way this UI is supposed to work before we move on. So it says, okay, so after you load in the video clips, so you have all the videos, you go to the transcript tab, you click start transcription. It does some stuff in the background, you click check status. This should probably be I'm checking something, but it is in fact checking the status, and then it updates the status here. And then when it says task completed, then we should be able to click load results. And it should take a few seconds to grab all the results from the back end and then spit them all out here, but apparently it didn't. Overall, this UI could use some help to make it clearer when things are happening or not happening, and so on and so forth, but we'll get to that. So we do see an error. So this is from the other day when I was testing things. So on 125, so just 3 days ago. Due to runtime error, failed to load audio. So this is in the transcription service, or in the transcription service, right? In the transcription API, where we're trying to take one of the video files and we're trying to take the audio track from it, one of them, and then extract that in a certain format using FFmpeg, and then pipe that into OpenAI's Whisper command line tool, which takes the audio input and transcribes it. And it looks like it failed right in just trying to load the file, which makes sense with what we were trying to do at the end of last stream, where we were trying to fix an issue where it couldn't figure out how to get to the file. It seems like it still hasn't. What would be helpful here would be the actual file name it tried to use, or the command line. This looks like it's a command line, but it's not. These are the configuration options for when FFmpeg was built. So maybe two things. First, let's go back to the UI, and let me clear the logs here, right? And then I'm gonna go back to the UI, and we're gonna reproduce the issue, right? So we're gonna make sure that we have a clear step that will manifest the error, right? Because that will then allow us to know exactly what we need to do to be able to see the problem, and hopefully if we fix the problem, see it fixed as well. So I believe all that we need to do is click start transcription, and so some stuff will happen. Oh, there we go. Oh, actually I see it right there. I think that's why I missed it before, is that a lot scrolled past. But there we go. OBS file : local : and then the file name, no such file or directory. That makes sense. So here's a question. The container image that we're using, that the service is running in, how old is it? Right? So this is, let's go back to the containers list. Let's look at the transcription API. So it was started 24 minutes ago. All of these things were, because I remembered that I needed to have Docker running. If you could stop moving around, that would be great. Okay, transcription API. Here's the hash of the image. Or is that the hash of the container? It could be the container. Here's the image. So let's click the image. I don't care about vulnerabilities right now. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I should be able to click this. I feel like this has decided that this tab needs to load. So, additional feedback. I'm not going to do that now, but... Oh yeah, no. That's great. Are you sure you want to leave? Yes. Alright, let's go back to images. No, is the... Docker, what are you doing? Okay, great. No, so the question is, did the image for the transcription API get updated? So it was created 14 days ago, so I'm gonna say no. Oh yeah, did I interrupt the build at the end of last stream? So maybe this doesn't contain our fix from last stream. So let's attend to that first. Alright, so... Gitlins, I don't need your terminal. Maybe it's my computer that's slow today. OBS isn't using that much CPU. Why? Do we have like a container that's just like restarting over and over again? No. The front end is using a little CPU, but that shouldn't be bad. Oops. 8:15. Okay, so it's not been restarting over and over again or anything. Maybe it's the 100 tabs I have open in Firefox. Maybe that's it. Hold on. Control Alt. Oh yeah, delete. There we go. Now, I wonder what's visible on stream when I do this. Oh, interesting. Sorry for the black screen. I should return. Oh wait. Okay. Cool. Wow, Windows. Please. 100% CPU. Why? Okay. Well, please bear with me for some technical difficulties. Let's see, what will be ruined if I just end Firefox? So yeah, right now I'm at 97% memory and 98% CPU. That seems bad. What can I sacrifice here? Hold on, I don't need to have Steam open. But this makes sense, and if this was a similar thing that was happening last time, that might have been why I was having so much difficulty rebuilding everything. Just the system couldn't keep up. I might need to get more RAM. Do I have 32 or 64 gigs of RAM on this machine? Alright, so I'm going to see if I get in Firefox. Alright, that's a bit better. And nothing on the stream actually, other than, you know, my web browser, needs Firefox running. So that's fine for a minute. What is VMM? Is that... just like paging? Alright, well, we're gonna try getting our build running. Let's just do the one service, so that's the transcription. Maybe I even spelled that right. We'll see in a second. Yep. Cool. Okay, so hopefully this will not take forever to build. I think that's right. So last time around, I was getting hungry and towards the end of the stream, and I was like, okay, well, by the time this finishes, we're gonna be out of time anyway, and lunch is just about here and all that. So I think I just interrupted it. So that explains why we're getting the error we're getting right now. Maybe there's not an error at all once we actually have the newly built image. We will see. We will see. So, yeah, I feel like by the time it gets to the cargo build release stage, things are pretty quick. Because it doesn't, I mean, these things are quite small in terms of like Rust code for the service. So they don't take a long time. And I think maybe we did something that improved the speed, like we were able to cache more. I would like to see more stuff being cached in terms of the different layers of the Docker image. But there we go. So we should be able to, well, it should be restarted, right? So if we go pull up Docker again, we should see in transcription API, last started 38 seconds ago. Okay, listening. I guess I have to bring Firefox back. Maybe it'll be more well-behaved. So, did I click it and it's still loading, or did I misclick? I'll click it again. The stream may be weird for a second. Alright, seems fine. Good, and I have my my Twitch dashboard back. That's good. Okay. Somewhere. There we go. Here's the UI. Bring that back over here. And start transcription. Again, did I click it or did I misclick? Looks like I clicked it. Hey, and it found the file. Well, the first file of the set of files, right? I guess there wasn't a bug at all. So what we're going to do now, I guess, is wait a little bit. And just kind of chill for a minute while our code does its thing. How are we doing? Ooh, I still have coffee. I appreciate people coming in, checking out the stream. Whether you're a chatter or a lurker. Hello. So I think, let's take a look really quick. So the code that we had worked on last stream. Oh, and I need to catch you up on kind of the other changes that I did, because I fixed the issue the other day. But the code last stream that we changed, that was in the transcription service, not silence detection. Transcription API, there we go. I think it was, wasn't it? Right, we were parsing the URI. Oh, right, I have it collapsed. Here we go. Okay. Like, where's the rest of the code? So before we were just splitting on slash. We should do something different here. Does Rust have a good... Is there an idiomatic way or a good crate for parsing URIs, right? So right now we're just like very naively taking the whole URI and splitting it up into an array or a vector of strings, splitting on either slash or colon, and then we're just looking for the last thing. And that honestly isn't too bad. So the alternative would be we could parse the URI into parts. Are there well-defined parts for a URI actually? In the meantime, this is still running. It's doing its thing. Hey, there we go. And we're seeing some interesting some things that I had said in a past stream. Are there well-defined parts to a URI? Not the University of Rhode Island. A uniform resource identifier. There we go. Do we have a dark mode? Maybe if I logged in, but I'm not going to. Identifies the resource by name at the specified location. A URL provides the location of the resource. Other URIs provide only a unique name without a means of locating or retrieving the resource. These are uniform resource names. Yep, RDF uses them. Pointed out that the term URL had displayed, oh yeah, widespread public use faded into near obsolescence. Some URIs act as addresses by having schemes supplying network accessibility. So URNs and URLs are both subsets of URIs. Is that how that works? Syntax, URI schemes. Yep. So we have a scheme, optionally an authority, and then a path. Right. So we could attempt to parse the URI and grab the path. The downside of doing that, there's a little bit of a security bonus, and actually doing well. There's still many ways this is problematic, but at least by splitting out all the slashes and then taking everything after the last slash, if there were any, we're ensuring that the file name that we have here does not have any path segments. So it can't have something like ... in it, right? I guess there's a risk of having a backslash and, oh, this is running on Windows, and that being interpreted. Yeah, and other things. So in summary, this is okay for me because I'm running this locally. If I were to actually make a service that would have other people supplying data into it, this is still not bulletproof in terms of, I guess I should explain the risk, right? So the risk is someone could use this. Let's see, what is the security risk here, right? So what do we use the path for? So we pass it to FFmpeg. If you could get, so after the slash, you could have, maybe you could have something where you, we're not shelling out to call FFmpeg here, which would be a bigger risk, right? If we were like using a shell to then run FFmpeg, then if path had like a comment, you could then like inject arbitrary commands into this. But you could still probably like use the path, like, you could have like a space in the file name, and then you could pass other command line arguments to FFmpeg, potentially that do unforeseen things, depending on the privileges of the, like where this container is running and what it's connected to, potentially overwriting files or putting files in places that they're not supposed to go. All sorts of things. So, be careful. Anyway. So, how is the transcription going? Presumably it's still going, right? Because we have like, let's go back to the UI really quick. So over here in video clips, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 files. That's about right. Each file is about, except for the last one, all of them should be 20 minutes long. So yeah, there should be about, 3 an hour. 3 hours should be 9, so there might be 10 if we go slightly over 3 hours on a stream. And each of those files is then, we're pulling the audio, the speech track, the track of audio in the stream where I am talking, extracting that, handing it over to OpenAI Whisper locally, and it's doing the transcription here. Hey, look, then we should be able to use FFmpeg to extract the audio from the track, because all of my local recordings of the streams have multiple audio tracks. Yeah. And there we go. Here's another video being... Here's me talking about the keyboard. Okay, very, very meta. Anyway. While that's still going, one of the things I did while I was failing to realize that I had not finished building the fixed code after the last stream and like hitting a roadblock there, one of the other things I did is in the UI, here we go. Let me just open a new tab. Streams. Previously, we were not able to sort by prefix. This was not working. And now it is. which is very handy for like, okay, new streams, work on them. Also, the other stuff should work as well, although I've not tested it. Not that really I would ever need to sort by title, but I can sort by created at, which is usually going to align with the date the stream happens. But yeah, so to do that, there were a couple of changes. Let's see where to start on this. Right, so I realized that the React admin front end did not send us for the, or a couple steps back. So we're using React admin to implement the front end. And React admin has the concept of a data provider, right? So data provider, there it is. And our data provider just is based off of the RA Data Simple REST library. And so it just has a predefined set of REST API endpoints that it expects for each kind of record. And so we just pointed at our service, our CRUD API, to get those endpoints. But the way it works is that the list view runs the list records or whatever the endpoint is, which calls whatever, so in this case, get list, right, for video clip, or get list for stream. And part of how that works, part of what I had wrong was that it doesn't, here we go, this is the better view. So previously I was looking for a range, a sort, and an order, but actually the column and the direction are both inside of that sort parameter, and they are like JSON encoded values. So I ended up implementing, mostly Copilot with some direction implemented this deserialized sort method, or function, if you like that word better. So I just wrote out the comment, right, of like, okay, this needs to take a string like this, and return this. Hey, Brainless. It is very yellow. Also, hello. Hold on, we don't need to see the diff, it's just new content. How is it going? Good, I hope. Oh. So, all good. Planning on formatting your main laptop. Is this a continuation of the what distro was it you were talking about before, or is this trying a different distro? Right? Weren't you saying that you had like 2 partitions and installing Arc with I feel like isn't it Wayland and something? or have things evolved again and now there's other things that I've never heard of? Because I don't think I've heard of a Hyperland or a Waybar. Oh, it's okay, it is an actual thing. Okay. I'm behind the times. Maybe when I do my Hyperland as a window manager. Yep, tiling. Yep. Yeah, okay. Definitely behind the times. I think at some point I'm going to have a separate PC for like handling video processing for the streams and stuff. And maybe I'll do a Linux PC for that. So deserialized sort, Copilot wrote this for me basically. So we're using sort.json from str to get the value, and we're checking to see if it's an array or throwing an error. And then down here in our list param struct, I'm telling it how to deserialize. So we already had one for deserialized range, which takes the range that the front end gives us. And so we do something similar for the sort, where we're pulling out the tuple of sort column and direction, like this. So that was one thing that changed since the last stream. And then I'm just using those things here. Instead of trying to do something here, we just take the sort and we unpack it and use it that way. And then it actually works. Although I don't need this tracing anymore. That can go away. That was while I was trying to figure out what was going on. Alright. I will do a virtual box setup first. I'm always afraid of messing up the partitions. Yes. Yeah, back in the day, my first PC, I went back and forth so many times on, this was Windows 95 and FreeBSD 2, 2.2.2, going back and forth. But half of that was because I had nothing better to do. And the other half was me breaking Windows over and over again. Alright, are we done with the transcription yet? Not quite. It's a couple of minutes per video file, and we get like a dozen video files, so it'll be a little bit. But we can see some of the transcription in the meantime. Guess you are older than me. You started with DOS and Windows 3.1. Maybe. I don't know. This was circa 96, 97. My first PC was a Packard Bell Pentium 100 megahertz processor with 8 megabytes of RAM. Hey, MP is Fafter29. Thanks for coming by. DOS prompts, yes. You'll be 40 this year, so we are about the same age then. I am actually older than you. By just a little bit. Alright. We're all old in here. 42 is a good number, though. And then Foxy's here. The youngin' that she is. Is your birthday next month? Well, I have to remember to wish you a happy birthday in a month. Alright, so. Yours is next month too. Hopefully not on the 29th. It's been a while since I thought about it, but it's a leap year this year. Okay, I have my entire home directory back up. Wish I'm not forgetting anything. Is there not a... Yeah, we need a fingers crossed emote. Put that on the list. Here is... Oh yeah, so that was the end. Okay, so I think we're done actually. Totally lost in this coding stuff. Well, hey, if you want to ask questions, I can try to explain. I've been told that I'm good at explaining things. Right now we're just like waiting for stuff to run, and I think it's done, right? So this is more right now of just like seeing how it does than actually coding anything. So if I check status, it should say, well, it was saying that before, but maybe it means it this time. I'll click load results, and the kind of the freeze here is good. It's loading the data. I don't know why. It's not that much data. Don't know why it should freeze, but maybe that's something we can look into. You just like listening to me? Well, I am glad you enjoy the sound of my voice. Well, this is taking a little bit. Oh. Will it crash or will it load? I mean, it's just like 3 hours of me talking. It's not that many words. When is the next Power World stream? Try not to advance too much without you. Well, yeah. The next Power World stream will be on Wednesday. I did update the schedule on Twitch, so the Wednesday stream is going to be Power World for the foreseeable future. Okay. Reading the phone stream and watching on TV. I have to use this to type. So you're watching on your TV and typing on your phone. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because well, yeah, I did see there was some new stuff at the base, like some more technological advances. I don't think it's a problem if we wanted to, we could just have 2 bases. Like, I think you said we were kind of close to, like, you had been leveling up the base, and we were kind of close to, through the app on the Xbox, to being able to unlock a second base. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting once we get some more, if and when more people join. I wonder how that works with, because when you spawn in, you can pick any of the, oh, we have the second base option already. Nice. Okay. What is a base? We're talking about our Pal World multiplayer world. So last Wednesday, I started playing Pal World on stream, and Brainless Society over here joined. Yeah. I have it open for Twitch subscribers to come and play on the server as well. Up to 32, which is not is more than enough at the moment. Also, is this ever going to load? It looks like it's loading. Yeah, there we go. This page is slowing down Firefox. Well, I'm not going to stop the page. We're just going to keep on trying. You remodeled yet again. Okay. I'm thinking of fighting the first boss, but the lag scares you. Yeah. Yeah, it is a North America server. Somewhere. Actually, I think they ended up like provisioning it not where I requested, because I requested actually something like really close to me. But I feel like they were saying that the server that was provisioned was in somewhere in Canada. But yeah, lag might be an issue. 180 ping. So we have a problem, and the problem is that apparently we can't load our transcript. Page is like completely frozen. That is not great. Okay. The ping is manageable. Rubber banding is the issue. Yeah. I mean, it is an early access game. I don't know, even with optimization, how good it can get. Maybe better. Can one tiny mistake in code cause the issue here? I wouldn't say it's a tiny mistake. So basically what we're doing here is... yeah. Oftentimes, a typo means that the thing just won't compile. You won't get even to the point where you can run the program and see it not work. Depending on the language you're using, oftentimes certain kinds of errors can be can never make it to the point where you would even think it could work, right? It doesn't compile. And in other languages, tiny mistakes are allowed all the way to the point where you think, okay, well, this seems to work, until it hits that one point. like one certain input or one certain action by a user, and then it crashes, or it uses all of the memory available on the system that it's running on, or whatever failure case it is, right? In this case, I think what's happening is we're probably doing something bad in our front end, right? So in stream transcript input. So this is our front end component that is responsible for managing loading data. The language we're using, so the front end is using TypeScript, right? So this is all TypeScript, and specifically TypeScript plus a thing called JSX. JSX being a thing that allows you to put HTML-like syntax inside of your code, which then it ties in with this thing called React, right? Which is a bit to explain, but it essentially helps us like make stuff that works in a browser, right? The backend, so the stuff that's happening behind the scenes, that like the browser, like when you click a button and it's doing something behind the scenes, the backend is implemented in Rust, right? So then we have like these files that I was looking at before, like these ones, this is Rust, .rs. So for the front end, we have a bunch of code here, and it's this, I think it's this load data function that's having an issue, which is very innocuous looking, right? It's just saying, okay, so we get the form context, I think, up here. So the form context is like a handle around this part of the UI that has like all the different input fields and stuff. Yeah, the famous front end and back end roles. Yeah. So we're doing both. Which is also known as full stack. I mean, it's more complicated than that, other than, so like it's more than a front and a back, right? Because we have like two different database engines, and those could be considered the real back end. And then these services that we're building are like a middle tier, and then the web front end is the front end. Or, I mean, there's just different ways of thinking about it. Yeah, full stack. Yeah. And you could have more, you could have just the front end, right? Without a back end, you have just a web page or like just JavaScript where there's not a back end, where it's just like nothing, it doesn't, you load the web page, it does stuff, and that's it. You've done full stack, you'd rather just stay as back end. Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of different things, right? And so, especially if you're doing like a bunch of different layers where you have like, I mean, because generally speaking, when people say back end, they mean like these different API services and caches and databases and disks and files and all that stuff, right? All of that. And when people say front end, they generally mean like doing stuff in a web browser, or it's like a desktop app. I guess it could also have like a front end client. But in web development, front end is talking about like JavaScript or TypeScript, React or Angular or whatever is trendy now. Front end, it can be fun too, very interactive, right? Assuming you don't have a bunch of stuff bogging down. When you want to make a change, you have to like wait a bunch for that change to show up in the browser. So anyway, yeah. So load data here is the thing that when I click the button that said load results, it runs on click load data. You don't do pretty things unless someone gives you a well-structured design thing is going to be ugly. Yeah. I mean, a well-structured front end should lend itself to be, prettied up, maybe. I mean, it just depends. Sometimes you have a design that's like, okay, well, we need a completely different structure in order to accomplish the looks that you want, right? So we get the values, right? We get the values from the task data. And this is easy, right? This is not moving data around or anything. It's just giving a different name. Yeah, Figma link. Right. Back in the day, it was whatchamacallit, the Adobe product. Photoshop, yeah, a Photoshop file, PSD file. I did a lot of those back long ago. Get the PSD file and slice it up and turn it into a website. So we get the values, and this is just giving a different name to task data, really. So this is not going to be a problem. And then we call form context.setValue source values, and this is almost certainly the thing that is really slow. So what we're doing here is we're saying, hey, form at the location defined by source, which is going to be something like transcript segments or something, populate it with these values, and it's a list of I don't know, hundreds of things. And apparently React admin doesn't like that. I'm not sure why. It doesn't seem to like having all that data. So I think what I'm gonna do is do console log. There you go. And I'm gonna put a debugger line here. And do I even need to do this? You know what I can do? Instead of modifying this, I can go into the browser. We're gonna tell it to go ahead and stop and refresh. Oh, there. Hey, look. It loaded just after I hit reload. Of course. All right, so we're gonna go to the debugger tab and we're gonna find our file. So let's see. Come on. You know you want to work. Oh, Firefox. Now, this is not my fault. Like, we don't even have the data in the record yet, so it's not trying to load it again. Okay. So, stream transcript input. There we go. And then I can find, hopefully, the line here. We'll set a breakpoint there. So I can click check status, task complete, load results. So now the page pauses right before it tries to call set value. And we can look at what values has. Apparently values has nothing in it. That doesn't seem right. Oh, right. No, it's there. Okay, so there's 1,840 entries in this. There we go. Start, end, and text. So that's all good. I suspect though that the issue is that we are trying to load 1,840 things, but each thing then becomes like a bunch of elements, like DOM elements, right? Because we have like saying like a lot. We have a start input, an end input, a text input, and then some buttons for each of those 1,840 items. So I think what we need to do is figure out how to paginate, maybe, or otherwise limit the number of things that are like loaded on the page at the same time.